Angel Moxley here, and I'm here with...
Tommy Grayson, one half of the amazing Graysons, a.k.a. the world's finest tag team. I don't know. I mean, I kind of thought, like, you know, it would be clever to, like, you know, name drop myself a little bit. You know?
I see that. So we're here doing a Q&A.
Alright.
And here are the questions that you guys have sent in. What has been your favorite match in Wrestle Pro?
In Wrestle Pro, so my brother and I debuted for Wrestle Pro in November of 2016. It was their final deletion show that they had in Rahway, New Jersey, where it was the Hardys, Ryback, and Pat Buck, one of my trainers, against the EJ5, which is the Heavenly Bodies, Justin and Dustin, Buster Jackson, and Chris Payne. That was the main event. It was probably Wrestle Pro's biggest crowd to date, and because we had been training at Wrestle Pro for about 5 or 6 months by then, a spot opened up for us. It was my brother and I, JP, against the team of, at the time they were called Dirty and Durable, or the Wrestlepreneurs. It was a team of 2 veterans from the IWF New Jersey area, Sean Donovan and Michael Blake, and they were 2 guys from the Jersey scene that, you know, kind of reformed for a little bit. Blake unfortunately left the business for hopefully temporary. I don't know if it might be permanent or not. I don't want to shut his business out. But they reformed a tag team, and we got to wrestle them, and it was a nice, easy, you know, 5-minute dark match, but just the crowd was so hot because we were the first match, and because, you know, it was just, you know, it was just a white-hot match, easy, told a great story, you know, young babyface tag team up against, you know, 2, you know, dickhead heels, and we got the W that night, made a good first impression, and, you know, from there on, I don't really know what happened with Wrestle Pro, but, you know, I think we literally just got the W the last show we wrestled for them, but, yeah, that was my favorite match at Wrestle Pro.
Okay. Now, the second question is, what's your favorite match in general?
That I've been in, or that, like, my favorite match growing up and watching?
No, the one that you've been in.
I have a bunch. Anytime we wrestle the Down Boys, Steve and Tony, you know, that's fun. I like my recent TLC match that I had at Pro Wrestling Magic. It was myself and my brother against the Down Boys, against American Murder Society, against Glitz and Glamour. That was a lot of fun. About a year ago, today actually, or tomorrow, because it was a week right before WrestleMania 33, my brother and I made our debut at XWA, and we got to wrestle Mike Orlando and Leon St. Giovanni from Ring of Honor. Those are 2 of our homeboys, so, you know, it was absolutely, you know, fucking awesome match. Excuse me, am I allowed to curse?
Yeah, you're good, you're
okay.
off that. I curse all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple. We got to wrestle EC3 about 2 years ago. That was fun. Him and Mike Orlando, like a little impromptu match, but that was fun. I got so many, you know. I think my favorite opponents would definitely have to be the Down Boys, I would say, just because we have, like, such good chemistry with them. And we also had a really good match with Private Party when we dropped the Pro Wrestling Magic tag titles to them. They're House of Glory tag team, but, you know, it was fun. I like actual tag teams, you know, that regularly team, not just guys that are just put together,
Yeah.
you know.
Third question, what's your favorite wrestling move?
Once again, to do, or to
do.
or like to see?
I think it's to do.
Okay,
Because
well,
they just sent me it like that. So
I think I saw that on I think it was Instagram. You
Yeah.
had like, yeah. Well, my favorite wrestling move to do. All right, so I'm gonna break it down because I'm very indecisive. My favorite solo move to do, not from the top, is either the sliced bread number 2, which is you grab them. It's like you're going for a cutter, and then you do a backflip moonsault and land in a reverse DDT. Or I have another move that I just started doing. You were there for it. It was the wheelbarrow stunner. That's fun. My favorite off the top move to do is either the swanton or the frog splash. And my brother and I have some awesome moves that, you know, we do together. I do the wheelbarrow stunner. He does the modified kill switch. He does the falcon arrow. I do the swanton. I do a code breaker. He does a German. Those are just some of my favorite moves to hit. You know, as far as like moves that I like to see, Stone Cold Stunner was always my favorite. F5, TKO. I loved the X Factor, the 619, and then Van Damme's Frog Splash, Jeff Hardy's Swanton, and I love the 3D. And I loved the move that the Hardys did, where Matt hit the leg drop, Jeff did the splash. I think they called it the Event Omega or something. Yeah. That was awesome.
So, fourth
I'm
one.
a big Mark.
Fourth one. Someone asked, what product do you use in your hair?
I think I have it on. It's this gel you could get at
Is that the one I bought?
Yeah, it is the one you bought. She bought me gel. No pun intended, because people call you Jelly.
Yeah.
It's this brand called Extreme. And funny story about it. So like, I obviously right now I have like, they call it a man bun or whatever. It's basically my sides are always faded, but the top is long. But I used to have like kind of like a blowout.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, with like spiky hair. And one thing about my hair is that I have a lot of it, and it's very dark, and it's very like, it's thick. I don't have thin hair at all, So yeah, so I like gel that would make my hair look wet, and I went through a bunch of different gels, and they would always just make my hair dry up. And then one day I found this Extreme stuff, and it seemed to do the trick. And then one day at Northeast Wrestling in our hometown, we're there with our idol Jeff Hardy, and he's putting baby oil in his hair, and JP goes up to him and goes, "Jeff, I have hair gel, man." He's like, "Oh, thanks, man. I like that wet look, man." So he handed him the gel, and he's like, "Extreme, man. Where can I get this?" And he was like, "Spencer, shoot name obviously, but yeah, Tommy Spencer." So he goes, "Where do we get it?" And I think it's like at I told him it was at What's the name of the hair?
I don't even remember the name. It's the one next to Spencer's, right?
Yeah.
At the mall.
It's whatever chain of like hair care and like female like hair products and stuff. You get it there because Jeff's from the South, so I told him there. And then the next time we saw him at the final deletion, we actually brought him hair gel. He's like, "Oh, thanks, man. I've been looking everywhere for this, man."
He used baby oil?
He used baby oil in his hair. Jeff's my homeboy, but that's some weird shit.
Okay, so what's your favorite superhero movie?
My favorite superhero movie, live action or animated? Because once again, I'm a big Mark.
Do live action.
Live action, I would have to say it's either the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, or all right. So there's gonna be 3 or 4. The original Spider-Man, Suicide Squad, Deadpool, and Batman Forever.
I knew you were going to say Batman.
Well, because I'm a Batman.
I know.
I'm a diehard Batman. Come on, Graysons.
Any animated?
Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, Batman Under the Red Hood, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, and Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. I did like Batman the Killing Joke, but it kind of, the first half hour, like I actually went and saw Killing Joke in theater. That's how much of a Mark I was. And I just wasn't happy with the first 30 minutes. Like the actual like part from the comic that they did was awesome, but like the prequel element that they did where Barbara and Bruce were fucking, I was just like, no, like this, not feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Yeah.
What's your favorite video game?
Ooh. Of all time, all time is easily Super Mario 64.
I already knew you were gonna say that for
Why?
some reason. I don't know. I just do. You always talk about it.
That was our favorite. I mean, obviously, Mortal Kombat, Injustice, GTA, Saints Row. Those are franchises that I'm a big fan of. I love those games. But I would have to say of all time, my favorite game would have to be Super Mario 64, just because like there are specific childhood memories that me and my brothers have and all my homies have of just that game, so it would have to be that.
Any advice on becoming a pro wrestler?
Have a backup plan. Go to school, have a reliable job, have a trade, just have some sort of backup plan, because wrestling is not going to be your 9 to 5. I've been doing it 3 years, and I'm still just a rookie myself, and I have not been able to justify not having a backup plan. I'll say, like, I love wrestling, it's in my blood. I do, knock on wood, one day I'll be able to pay my bills wrestling, I hope. I've been I hate saying blessed, but my brother and I have been very fortunate early on to run into some very good people who have taken good care of us and kept us at, an advantage. With that being said, we're both still full-time students. I still love video editing and shooting and, acting acting and doing other things. And, you know, I also have, you know, a part-time, which is damn near full-time job at, you know, at a shoot job. So, you know, I would really just say have a backup plan. And then my other piece of advice would be, look yourself in the mirror. And what I mean by that is I don't necessarily mean like, you know, pull up a mirror and take a look at yourself and say, wow, I look really good, I look really bad. Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, how are people going to react to me being in the ring? There's too many people out there, in my opinion, that should be behind a guardrail, or that should be, if they want to get involved in wrestling, there's dozens, if not hundreds of other positions aside from being in the ring, but everybody is so bent on being in the ring. You know, you could be a full-time ring crew, you could be an interviewer, you could be a production person, you could be a manager, not even just like an on, like, you know, screen manager. I mean like somebody who like goes and creates websites for people and stuff. There are so many other positions to do, but unfortunately the whole athlete part kind of got lost in translation, and now I call it pay to play or just for fun. And you know, it's, I don't want to expose it too much, but all I'm going to say is that if you wouldn't pay to see yourself wrestle, why should anybody else? Someone just, yeah, that's, we're watching ECW, what pay-per-view is this? Living Dangerously 99. Putting her on.
Okay, so this one is, are you and Angel Moxie together?
Who's Angel Moxley?
Oh, you're funny. That's questionable.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you guys.
Yes. Yeah.
What brand for indie wrestling would you want to capture gold for? Tag gold for?
Definitely Northeast Wrestling. I would love to do so for XWA. If we ever get into CZW, I would love to do that. Ring of Honor is not really an indie, so, you know, I'm not going to say that, but pretty much any place that I felt, you know, would elevate me. You know, here's the thing, is that we've had gold or belts for promotions, and it might have benefited us at the time, but I wouldn't want to hold gold or be a champion for a company that I felt was either not going to benefit me or that I couldn't benefit the brand. Because having a belt is pretty much, you're trapped. You have to morally be able to commit to those bookings, to those shows, to those events. Where I'm at in my career right now is that there's very few companies that I want to invest in full time. And those are also brands that, you know, there's a lot more competition and there's a lot more structure to them than just, hey, you know, here's a belt. If that makes sense at all. So,
no, it does.
Yeah. So, I would also like the Pro Wrestling Magic Tag belts back personally.
What's your favorite promotion that you've worked for?
Right now,
yeah.
It would probably be, I would definitely say Northeast Wrestling, just because I grew up going to those shows as a fan. So getting to work for them is just beyond, you know, a dream come true. I love wrestling XWA. I love working for Pro Wrestling Magic. I love wrestling for Wrestle Pro when I get the opportunity to. That's because, you know, that's technically my home at this point. Not that I didn't start there, but they're like, you know, where I would consider a home at this point.
How long have you been a wrestling fan for?
Pretty much my whole life.
When did you start wrestling?
I started, well, in high school I did amateur starting at age 14. I was never any good at all. Let me just get that straight. I was a terrible amateur wrestler, but I learned, I went into it to have the discipline, not even just for wrestling, but to be able to go to work, to be able to be determined in college and everything like that. Wrestling teaches you a lot. I'm sorry, that piece of hair was bothering me. Yeah, weird like that. What was I lost my train. Wrestling teaches you a lot of discipline and a lot of structure that you need. Amateur wrestling, that is. And a lot of skills. You know, teamwork, agenda, working out, balancing, you know, a schedule and stuff. So I was able to get what I needed from the sport of amateur wrestling without necessarily being good at it, per se. And apply that in the ring. You know, our last match at Magic, you know, you saw me doing some amateur stuff in there. Case in point. I enrolled in wrestling school when I was 20 years old. It was the day before Justin's 18th birthday, so that was September 6, 2014.
So you guys were waiting for him?
It was a combination of things. You know, at the time I had 1 semester left before I got my associate's degree, and I would eventually take a year and a half off from school before I went back. You know, now in about a year's time I'll have a bachelor's degree. So you know, I took some time off. I was 20. I did I experimented with like music and like videos and stuff after high school. So, and I wasn't physically like, you know, in good enough shape to be able to like enroll. And eventually I met the guy who broke me in, and I was like, you know what, this is perfect. I need to just get into wrestling and just have it be my thing. And yeah, so, and I'm happy I started at 20, because I think if I started any younger, I physically would have not been ready for it, and I mentally would have not been ready for it. And 20 is still young enough, you know. It's a grown man's game.
Me. How did you and Moxley meet?
Moxley and I met at a Northeast wrestling event.
We did.
Yes.
Where did you train? Did you already answer that while you were talking?
Well, I started my training at East Coast Pro Wrestling, which is in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey. Head trainer is Gino Caruso, and, you know, I would learn the basics there and, you know, spend my first year training there and training at other places such as Damian Adams' school. He had like 2 schools, so you know we would inconsistently train with him. He's the one who trained the Down Boys and Deanna, so that's how we all met and became close. You know, myself, the Down Boys, Deanna Perazo, Aaron Bradley, a couple other guys who shall not be named. We trained with at Tommy Dreamer's school when it was in Poughkeepsie with Vic Delicious and Hale Collins, the Now. We trained at the Monster Factory every now and again, which is run by Danny Cage and Punishment Martinez from Ring of Honor. Some other places here and there, and then eventually we met Pat Buck and Mario Baccara and Danny Moff, all at different times, and Kevin Matthews, of course. And they all told us, come to Wrestle Pro, you know, because at the time when we broke in, Wrestle Pro or Creative Pro New Jersey was PWS, Pro Wrestling Syndicate. Mm-hmm. And the school and the way that the promotion ran was a lot different. So eventually when they split and became Wrestle Pro, a lot of guys started enrolling in the school. And eventually in June of 2016, we enrolled in Wrestle Pro. And that's pretty much where we've been training ever since, you know. And we have also trained, you know, at the Ring of Honor Dojo also with Cheeseburger.
What do you like to do for fun besides wrestling?
I love video games, I love music, I love comic books, I love anything, you know, related to like, you know, media, you know, like TV, you know, stuff like that. I love hiking. I like skateboarding every now and again, although I don't do it much because A, I'm not good at it, and B, I don't want to risk an injury.
Facts.
I love going to arcades, as you recall.
That was fun.
Yeah, I love, what else do I love? I love going to the movies and stuff. I like just hanging out, you know, having fun, you know, doing stuff. This is gonna sound weird. I love shopping. As weird as that is, I love shopping. I'm like, so my friend Amanda, like, you know, whenever she needs to go shopping at like Zoomies and stuff, her and I'll always go. Like, I'm the biggest, like.
Oh, okay, but you guys go to like.
Yeah, well, she's a Tom. I mean, I'm not gonna go and shop for dresses and stuff, but I mean, yeah, we like, you know, looking fly and stuff.
Well, like, you know. I'll sit in a dress store for about an hour. Can you do that?
To be determined.
Is there anyone you really want to share the ring with?
Oh, a bunch of people. Hardy Boys, Rey Mysterio, Tommy Dreamer, just to name a few. Rob Van Dam. Those are like all dream matches. Joey Matthews, Joey Mercury would be cool. Who else? Pretty much anyone. There's very few people that I wouldn't want to share a ring with. I don't know. Who would you like to see me in the ring with?
Rey Mysterio for sure. The Hardy Boys for sure.
That needs to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe one day the Young Bucks.
I'll not. I don't care. Okay.
I would too, probably. Not even gonna lie. Now the Hardys are my dream match, for real. It's weird, but as a tag team, my dream match is the Hardys, Motor City Machine Guns, FBI before Mama Luke retired, but now he's kind of like our manager, so it's, you know, different. Singles, I would love to wrestle Van Dam or Ray, or in a tag team if it was them against us, that would be sick. And I want to share a ring with Tommy Dreamer, just in some like way, shape, or form, just so I could have that moment.
He called me attractive. I'm still shook on that.
You are.
I'm still shook.
You're more over with Tommy than I am, and I trained at his goddamn school.
Okay, what is your main goal in wrestling?
My main goal in wrestling is to make it my job. Whether that's being just an indie guy who, you know, gets flown places and doesn't have to work a shoot job, or maybe it's Ring of Honor, maybe it's NXT, maybe it's, you know, overseas in Japan or overseas in Mexico, or, you know, across the country in Mexico. I just want wrestling to be I want people to look at us and say, this is the tag team that we need to study, the Amazing Graysons. Or, you know, if we evolve and change our name and change our gimmick or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it does. Okay. Well, this one says, is Moxley going to be the Amazing Grayson's leader? And then I kind of laughed at it.
That's all up to Moxley. You know, when she enrolls in a training school.
Like next year.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. We tried that with Ali Rex. To mixed results. That's the homegirl. She just chose that, you know, she chose to do something else, and all the power to her. I would like that because I feel like it would be more, it would add depth to our characters. It would make us more an attraction, and it would help us get more bookings, because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that females attract eyes, and they attract promoters, and they attract money.
With this ass.
Assets.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
How did you come up with your wrestling name and tag name?
So originally my wrestling name was Daryl Grayson, because I always liked the name.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I was gonna question you about that.
Yeah. So here's what's up with Daryl. I always liked the name Daryl. For whatever reason, I hate my real name. It just I can't stand it. Spencer's my real name. I can't stand it. I like the name Daryl because it's strong. It's you know, it's a grown man's name, but it's also like, you know, like I'm 24, so I'm still like, you know, a kid, so to say, but I'm still an adult. I don't know, I'm at that weird phase of my life. And the movie The Outsiders, Daryl was the oldest brother of 3. I'm the oldest brother of 3. So I rolled with that. It wasn't really catching on. And one day we were riding to a show and, you know, just thinking about, you know, what I should change my name to, and thought about, you know, the Power Ranger. The White Power Ranger was Tommy Oliver. So they were saying, all right, why don't you call yourself Tommy Spencer? And I'm like, you know what, that's not bad. And eventually it just became Tommy Grayson. JP was always JP because, you know, his real name is Justin Parker. So, you know, there you go. And then the Amazing Graysons, they originally wanted us to be called the Flying Graysons from DC, based off of Dick Grayson's, you know, right before he became Robin, he was him and his family were a trapeze act called the Flying Graysons. And to avoid copyright infringement, we switched it to the Amazing Graysons, and we kind of took the Amazing Spider-Man, Dick Grayson from Nightwing, and, you know, just made it our own. And it really, at first, it was a little bit, you know, more comic book campy, but now it's kind of like, we're the world's finest tag team. When you think about DC, what is it? World's finest comics. World's finest tag team. You know, we're real life brothers. We're, you know, a brother tag team in and out of the ring and everything that we do. And that's the part of the tag team that I'm very, you know, proud of, is that, you know, I could take my love for comic books and my love for wrestling and put them together.
You're such a mark.
I am. You have any other questions for me?
No.
Nothing off the top of your head? Nothing that's on your mind or anything like that?
Nothing appropriate.
Oh, good to know.
Okay, guys, I hope you liked our Q&A. If you have any more questions, just comment. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Yep.
I'll try to post more if I'm not lazy. He'll maybe keep me on track of that. I don't know.
Hopefully.
I mean, if I go to more shows, I can do that.
We got to get your ass training.
We do.
You could follow me on all forms of social media. Facebook at Tommy Grayson. Facebook fan page, and she's going to link all of them. Facebook fan page is The Amazing Graysons. Instagram is Tommy Gunn Everyone with the number 1. Twitter's the same. And Snapchat is Tommy Guns with a Z.
Is it really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay, so I'll put that all down. And make sure to like, subscribe again.
Oh, and one more thing. Make sure you check out our Pro Wrestling Tee store. We got to start selling some more shirts.
Yes.
At the Amazing Graysons. We got some sick designs, $20. They'll ship it right to your house. And they feel good.
They do. They're very comfortable. So when you buy one, tag us in it. I will shout you out. So will he.
Yep.
So we got you guys.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.